You can't miss this episode if you are a curious Sanatani, as we will be discussing two major misconceptions about Sanatana Dharma through two stories of two prominent kings. Jai Srimanarayana, hello everyone, I'm the Pauranika. Let's continue our journey along with Yudhishthira as a part of the Tirtha Yatras of Vanavasa. After learning about the story of Chavana, King Yudhishthira along with his entourage visited Archika Parvata, Chandratirtha and finally reached the banks of river Yamuna. There, after seeing the place where Krishna did his penance, he pointed out at a specific place and inquired what had happened there. Then, sage Lomasa said that two prominent kings had performed great sacrifices during their lifetimes at the same place. One of them is King Mandatha and the other one is King Somaka. So Yudhishthira, being the curious self, wanted to know the story of both of them. Then Lomasa started telling him the story of King Mandatha. King Mandatha is considered as one of the greatest kings of all the time in all the three worlds. How was such Mandatha born was a great story in itself. Once upon a time, there lived a king in Ikshvaku lineage by name Yuvanashwa. He had performed many yagas and ruled his people justly. However, he had one dissatisfaction. He had no children. In order to obtain a son who would extend his lineage, he left the responsibility of his kingdom on his ministers and he went to Vanavasa. There, he performed a great Upavasa and sage Chavana, along with other sages, performed a great yaga that would bestow King Yuvanashwa with a son equal to Devendra. In order to achieve that, they prepared a pot of water and energized it with various mantras. They kept the pot in the ashrama. At the midst of the night, Yuvanashwa, who was tired and thirsty, entered the ashrama and started looking around for water. He found it nowhere, and finally he saw a pot at the center of the ashrama which is not meant for him but was meant for his wife. Without knowing the intent, Yuvanashwa drank the pot of water and slept for the night. In the morning, the sages realized that the water which was supposed to be drunk by Yuvanashwa's wife was actually consumed by the king himself. Then the sages told him that as he drank the water, he would still be blessed with a boy who would be as valorous as Devendra, but it would be him, the father, who would be delivering the boy. However, the sages also blessed him that while the king bears the child and becomes pregnant, he wouldn't die at childbirth and he wouldn't have any pregnancy pains. Later, after bearing the child for 100 years in his body, tearing open the left side of Yuvanashwa, a beautiful boy was born. Even Devendra descended from heaven to see that beautiful boy. As Devatas were surprised on how would they feed the baby, Devendra covered the boy's mouth with his finger and that boy consumed milk from Indra's finger. That boy was named Mandatha. He grew up to be a great archer and conquered all the worlds. He made great donations and performed many great yagas. When a 12-year-old drought occurred, in the presence of Devendra, he ordered Varunadeva to reign in that particular kingdom. And sage Lomasa showed that place to Yudhishthira and said that it was the place where such Mandatha performed many great yagas. Then as usual, Yudhishthira wanted to know the story of the other king too, which is King Somaka. The story of King Somaka is pretty curious. King Somaka had 100 wives, but of all the 100 marriages, he had only one son, and that son was named Jantu. The 100 wives were obsessed with that one baby boy and they used to take great care of him. He was their world. One day, an ant bit the little boy and he started crying. Seeing him in sorrow, the 100 kings of Somaka wailed, causing fear in the heart of the king's court. Somaka ran to the palace, consoled his son and came back to his court, to his ministers and priests. There he said that having a single child is as good as having no children because it is causing him great fear at every stage of his life. He then asked, "Suggest me a way to obtain 100 kids from my 100 wives." And he promised that he will do it however tough it is. Then the priest suggested a yaga but with a condition. The king must offer his son Jantu as offering in the yaga. The priest also said that Jantu, who was sacrificed like that, will be born again as one among the 100 brothers with a golden birthmark on the left side of his body. The king accepted and started the yaga. When the time came, the priest forcefully took away Jantu from the 100 mothers while they cried and fought back. The yaga, however, was completed and Jantu was born again as the eldest son of Somaka along with 99 brothers. However, the story did not end here. Somaka ruled his kingdom righteously, left his body and ascended to heaven. There, he saw his priest who advised him on sacrificing, and that priest was burning in the fire of hell. Somaka went to Yamadharmaraja and asked him to pardon his priest's mistake. Yamadharmaraja said that he can't, as the priest needs to pay the price for the advice he gave. Somaka was taken aback. Somaka said that he was the one who requested the advice and therefore pardon the priest and punish him. Yamadharmaraja declined. Then Somaka said that he would face all the punishments along with the priest, and Yamadharmaraja accepted that. For giving such bad advice and for taking such advice, Somaka and the priest faced multiple punishments in hell, and after that, Somaka went to heaven accompanied by his priest. So these are the stories of King Mandatha and King Somaka, who performed great sacrifices at the banks of Yamuna. This story was narrated by sage Lomasa to King Yudhishthira. Thank you. Jai Sriman Narayana.